Coming up top of the hour, you got Maryland taking on NC State. That's Ashley Owosu from Maryland. She leads the team with 14 points a game. Number 9 versus number 13 in women's college hoop. Again, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, right here on ESPN.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
And welcome to the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Number 9 Maryland in town to take on unbeaten and 13th ranked North Carolina State, a pair of old rivals from their ACC days together and now on opposite sides of this challenge. And what an opening night it was for the Big Ten last night. They are well on their way, in fact just 3 wins away from their first challenge win in the history of this tournament. And we welcome you courtside to historic K-Out Court here inside Reynolds Coliseum. Beth Mullins along with Debbie Antonelli, and we have a good one. These two teams, old rivals, Debbie, and hoping they might meet again late in the season this year.
Well, there's certainly seeding implications on the line for both these teams besides their respective conference races. And in order to get this win tonight, both these teams can score, and they like to run their offense through their inside play. And for Maryland, that's Shakira Austin. She's 6'5", she's a sophomore. She can score in a variety of ways. For NC State, it's Elisa Cunane. She's a good facilitator. She shoots the transition triple. They both pass out of double teams. They both demand a double. They both can score in the one-on-one.
And something to watch for this year, a little new situation for this Maryland defense. They want to turn you over and take off.
See, look, I see the game through an offensive lens, right? And I know Maryland is one of the high-powered offenses in the country, but what's different about them this year is it's not a stop-score mentality. It's a steal, score, steal, score. They're plus 11 in the turnover margin. They're 5th nationally in that number. They extend their D. They're long and athletic. They create possessions with their defense. This is a well put together, very complete Maryland basketball team coming on the road in here to try to knock off NC State.
Maryland was in here 2 years ago in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and North Carolina State ended their season. So a little payback also on their minds as they return to Valvano Arena at Reynolds Coliseum. And for the Terps, 7-1 on the year. The lone loss early at home to South Carolina. Taylor Mikesell is their sharpshooter outside. Kyla Charles is the Big Ten's preseason player of the year. And on the other side for NC State, Ace Koenig at the point. And Jakia Brown-Turner, one of their big freshman contributors.
Well, Maryland extends their defense. Offered a made 3. They make 8 triples a game. NC State makes 9. And here's the one-on-one on the inside against 2 6'5" sophomores. Both are very talented and skilled around the rim. NC State has a great rhythm about them, Beth. The way they play, the way they work through the post, I think they're the best at feeding the interior of any team I've seen in women's college basketball this early.
And they will turn it over. It is a Maryland team that is coming off back-to-back big wins. They went down to Florida to play in a Thanksgiving tournament, and they rolled as the Terrapins come to town with a little momentum. Brenda Fries was telling us earlier, back in ACC country for her, it's a very comfortable place to be.
She knows her way around. Yeah. She knows the restaurants she likes to eat at. She knows where to take her team.
That's big for their sharpshooter, Taylor Mikesell, who's been off the last couple of games.
Well, she's a 40% three-point shooter, and twice she's been able to get her feet set. And there's a turnover by NC State.
They got the steal, but not the score, and State will get it right back with Brown-Turner. They have very good depth. They had a ton of injuries last year, and everybody is starting to get back to 100%. And a foul on the drive. And one of the issues for Wes Moore, talking to us today at shoot-around, was we're still learning to play together and get our playing time down. And he essentially has 8 starters with the 3 injured players coming back.
Well, remember the story last year for Westmore. They'd won 22 in a row. They went undefeated to start the season. They lost 4 players, 3 of which were starters, all 4 to ACL injuries. All those players are working their way back into the rhythm of the team, and that takes time. And while they're all trying to think that they're 100%, really they're not all at 100% yet. That's just going to help NC State's depth. They're just going to be a deeper team as they get into March and into potentially April.
Wes has gone over 700 wins now in his career. Another 3 as Maryland bangs one home. And a quick time, and they're going to reset here on the inbound.
Okay, wide open. Okay, NC State not taking anything away from. Look at the defense right here. NC State is not in a stance. That is too easy for Maryland. They're too good of a 3-point shooting team if you're not going to put any ball pressure.
Cunane inside on the nice feed for State. Let's see if the Pack can adjust here as Maryland is 3 of 3 from beyond the line. They'll try for another and their first miss of the night. Charles short on the shot.
Ace Koenig, or excuse me, Ace Koenig at the point for NC State. Number 1 in white, she's a senior. She's a terrific leader for them, and she facilitates their offense at the point guard position.
She's a part of the national team pool for Team Canada. And may get a look-see for the Olympic team next summer, and she knocks down the triple.
It was a big get in the recruiting wars for Westmore because he got Ace Koenig over Stanford, Tara Vanderveer. And 69% of the shots she takes are outside the arc, so you have to run her off the 3-point line. She's too dangerous out there.
She's got a season with 93s. Taylor Meixel's got a season for Maryland with 93s, so they can dial it up. And all alone, Jones, easy on the run. And the 2-point Maryland lead.
Everything for Maryland has been easy so far. NC State hasn't taken anything away, and that's the danger of the balance when you have 5 players on the floor that can score.
Another turnover. Watson looking for 3, around and out.
Well, I will say this too, Beth. This is a terrific shooter's gym. The lighting in here is great. The crowd in here is good. The lighter floor is good for shooters. All of it is a great combination to be able to fill it up.
The renovation here was fabulous 4 years ago, and NC State's been very tough to beat here ever since. 51-6 on the new K-Yao court. They turn it over again. And then Koenig is able to strip it away from freshman Ashley Owusu. A rare turnover for her, and Koenig gets the finish. Jones.
Wow, Maryland is on fire outside the arc. What a fantastic shooting display in the first quarter.
5 baskets, 4 of them from downtown for Maryland. Off the bounce by Crutchfield. And that will go to the Terps. Substitution for Maryland. Another one of their freshmen, Diamond Miller, out of Somerset, New Jersey, will come on. As will freshman Faith Masonius, another New Jersey kid.
Faith Masonius is a player that likes to mix it up now. She'll get a loose ball, dive on the floor, she'll crash the glass. She's a great screener. She does all that non-stat stuff that you love as a coach.
Off the bounce. So Ashley Owusu had 9 turnovers in 8 games coming in tonight, and now she's turned it over on the last 2 possessions.
She had gone 55 consecutive minutes until the start of this game without turning it over. That's pretty good for a freshman point guard.
Little different environment here tonight at Reynolds.
And there's the freshman for NC State, the McDonald's All-American, Jakia Brown-Turner, the lefty with a drive.
Masonius, one dribble and back out to Owusu. Such poise For a freshman at the point, you'd think as an opponent you'd be able to pick on that spot, and she has not allowed teams to do that at all.
Well, she has size over most guards. She sees the floor so well. But she's not explosive, you know, so she doesn't have that quick first step, but she understands how to distribute.
1 point, Maryland lead. Maryland scoring outside, NC State scoring inside. And a tight matchup. As we welcome you back to Jimmy V Week, and an update as you followed Brenda Fries and her family, twin boys, and her son Marcus and Tyler. And Tyler had a big battle with leukemia as a youngster, and happy, of course, to announce that he is still cancer-free. He goes back for a checkup once a year, but fabulous youngster was involved in cross-country, Debbie, playing basketball, playing flag football, and a shout-out to he and Marcus and Dad Mark. I believe they're back home in College Park watching tonight. Got a school night. Got school tomorrow.
Tyler and Marcus tried to talk Mom into letting them on the plane. They worked really hard to negotiate, but the twins are 11 and they're in great health. Tyler actually is about 30 pounds bigger than Marcus, which is a little bit surprising. That's how healthy he is, and they are fun to be around, and they're great kids, and we've watched them grow up, and we actually watched them be born because Brenda had all full access in the birthing room. Brenda is all access all the time. Yes. It's really remarkable how great she is about that, letting cameras in her locker room at halftime and pregame, and trying to help grow the game that way. She's a terrific communicator, and she does a wonderful job helping grow the game that way.
She was really one of the first, and you go back to the 2006 National Championship game and the speech, right, that she gave at the Final Four when they were still a member of the ACC. 3 ACC teams at the Final Four in Boston that year, and they had to beat North Carolina in the semis, and then the legendary locker room speech in the final to beat Duke in overtime for the national championship.
That would have been 2006.
Yep.
Maryland has assisted on every basket. They usually assist on 61% of their baskets, so that is a very good number on the road when you've been able to shoot the ball as well as they have. And they're seeing a big basket right now.
4 of their 5 buckets from outside the arc. They try in the middle. And Elisa Kunane with the rebound. She's a double-double machine. They had a great trip out to Hawaii. Just got back to the mainland on Monday. So Westmore was a little concerned about whether or not fatigue might play a role in an up-tempo game tonight.
Maryland really working hard to keep the ball on the strong side, and that allows their weak side D to really stay at that midline. You know, both these teams shoot the three so well, so the spacing is important. I love the steal score mentality that Coach Fries has instilled in her team. You know, when you can recruit great players and you got a lot of them, you got to figure out a way to play them. So you might as well stretch your D and up your tempo, and they've always had an up-tempo offense, and I love the way they have added a little bit of a more aggressive defensive style to their system.
Jones off the bounce. That one won't go. And the matchup continues, and you talked about in the open, Debbie. Shakira Austin gets the rebound, and Kunane gets the foul. Well, it's the Women's Jimmy V Classic presented by Corona, and it comes your way Sunday at 4 Eastern on ESPN and on your app. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame at Gampel Pavilion to take on 4th-ranked UConn. The Huskies are 3-0 against the Irish in the Jimmy V Classic, and they have won 8 of the last 10 against their arch rivals. Their last meeting at the Final Four, and Notre Dame the winner.
Well, right now, NC State playing straight up in the post against Shakira Austin, and on the other side, Maryland working really hard to front Kunane on the interior. And she's actually, Kunane is not on the floor right now, but they were fronting her.
Touchfield. Off the crossover. Good switch by Maryland on the perimeter. And they will get it going the other way.
Get a good look at Diamond Miller, number 14 in black for Maryland. She's one of those highly rated freshmen in that number 3 freshman class for Brenda Fries. She's long and athletic. She's active on the defensive end. She's a terrific rebounder.
They've always been good inside. They've always been a terrific rebounding team under Brenda Fries. They've led the Big Ten in 8 of the last 9 years, and they work it inside. And there is Austin.
Yeah, that's a great job to clear out the backside to take away help and get Austin the lob pass without anyone there to be able to deflect it.
Coming up on 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Number 9 Maryland, number 13 NC State.
I was talking about how good NC State feeds the post. Watch this play right here. It's great misdirection. They overload the strong side. No weak side help on the backside. Great hands by Austin to finish.
Sophomore out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, a member of the All-Big Ten freshman team and the defensive team last year. And the offensive foul going to be called on Erica Cassell, setting the screen, her first. That is the second team foul on state.
Westmore over there, oh golly gee, we just can't get in rhythm. That's pretty much what Wes has got over there when he's frustrated.
Stymied by 6 turnovers already in the quarter. Austin. Jones with the weak side board.
I think that's the way you play Austin to start the game. You play her straight up, you make her make a play. She puts it on the floor, you have a better chance of being able to defend her.
Hunter with the nice kick out, way off the mark for Kayla Jones. And now Owusu goes to the left hand, has it rejected, but right into the awaiting arms of Charles.
Kyla Charles doing a great job on the offensive glass. It's a couple of times she's crashed, and she's really good on the backside of their 2-2-1 defense. Full court.
Coming off a 20-point performance, her best of the season in their win against Belmont. Grace Hunter in the lane gets the roll. In this final minute of the first quarter. Miller settles for the 3. Able to tip it loose. Jones couldn't locate a teammate, and Maryland will have it with the shot clock off. And Brenda Fries reminds her freshman point guard, we'll settle for the last shot here.
Run that clear out play again. They're going to go 1-4 low. Let's see if NC State stays in their man-to-man or if they switch to zone.
Owusu trying to back in on Koenig. The kick out, air ball. A 3-point Maryland lead through 1 here tonight in Raleigh. Ooh, a little Molly Bent. Thank you very much, Brick.
Hey, no one works harder than Molly Bent at UConn. I'm so happy to hear her getting some minutes.
Great? That's somebody that stuck around, that's been doing everything right and being a great teammate and working hard every day in practice. And now with Crystal Dangerfield still a little gimpy, she gets a chance for more minutes. Good for her. You can see the Huskies against Notre Dame on Sunday. Jada Boyd commits the foul there. We got games after Christmas, right? Big Mondays.
Oh,
Thursday showcase. The entire NCAA tournament with the Final Four down New Orleans this year. All on the ESPN Networks, your exclusive home for the NCAA championships.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you know, the parity or the balance or whatever you want to say about women's basketball this year, it's wide open.
Number 1 and number 2, both.
Yeah, it's good for the game.
Got dumped down in the islands
You know,
Stanford, the new #1 this week.
I've been saying whoever wins the regular season might not be the same team that wins their conference tournament, which might not be the Final Four rep. That's how much depth there is at the top of some of these leagues, like the Big Ten and the ACC, like the Pac-12, which I think right now is the best league. It's got the RPI #1.
So the story so far, good three-point shooting from Maryland, and NC State is shooting 50%, but they've turned it over more times than they've made shots.
And the SEC, I didn't leave them out. I think Texas A&M, South Carolina, and Mississippi State are all teams that fit inside that criteria that I just described.
We talked about 2006 and the 3 ACC teams, right? That's still the only time it's happened from one conference. That might change this year. Hunter tripped up in the lane. Boy, you really got to tip your cap to this Maryland D so far tonight.
I don't think NC State's moving the ball very well. I think they're stagnant. I think they're playing off the bounce. They're not moving it. And now Cunane's going to come back in the game. And they're best when they play through her, because they throw it in there and they space the floor. And then they're really difficult to guard because she will pass it back out. She's a willing passer.
Hunter trapped, almost turned it over. And it will be a shot clock violation. So State out of sorts offensively right now.
And it's not just that they're not in rhythm, it's Maryland's defense that has a lot to do with that, Beth. I mean, NC State had 7 first-quarter turnovers, 4 steals for Maryland, and they scored a couple of points off it.
This is the final night of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. The Big Ten went 5-0 yesterday. They have never won this challenge. They need to win 3 of the 9 games tonight. Right now, North Carolina is pummeling Illinois, and Rutgers, Virginia, a nail-biter.
A nail-biter or a rock fight, depending on how you like to.
Crutchfield hits the 3.
And it's a 1-point game, and we think Maryland has played really well, and we feel like NC State hasn't played well yet. And there's a great challenge at the rim by Cunane.
She was the MVP of the Hawaii tournament. They were out in Honolulu last week.
And Cunane will spot up for a 3 now. She's not shy about shooting it from out there. As a matter of fact, today in shoot-around, Wes Moore told her in a shooting drill, hey, I want you shooting 3s. I want you preparing for the game. And watch this D right here by Cunane. One-on-one in a post, 6'5" against 6'5". That's a lot to score over the top, especially when you're turning off your inside shoulder and shooting it right-handed against a shot blocker.
She had 24 points and 19 rebounds in the Classic final. State missed a layup. The second one blocked. The third one finds the bottom of the net. And it's the first lead of the night for North Carolina State.
Well, Jada Boyd can change the tempo of the game with her offensive rebounding, Beth. Look at her energy right here. Number 5 in white. Most players change the tempo. You think offense, they push the ball in transition. She comes in defensively and gets a deflection and a loose ball, but she also gets a couple of offensive rebounds. It's great hustle by the freshman for the Wolfpack.
Possession arrow will keep it with the Terps.
Mike Sell at the point.
Always have to locate her on the perimeter. More success from downtown. That's their 5th triple of the game.
Listen, every one of Maryland's players can score off a screen, okay? They have an offensive mindset. And Blair Watson is a terrific senior for Brenda Fries, who knows how to play in the big game. She's had plenty of experience.
That is now the 10th turnover of the half for NC State.
And I love Coach Fries not overcoaching it. You run the same play, you get the same result. You don't need to overcoach it. NC State didn't guard it, you run it again.
Blair Blair Watson going back to back. Weak side rebound. And out to Mikesel.
Let's see, does Brenda Fries run it 3 times in a row?
Or do her teammates recognize and get it to the hot hand right now? And instead, it's going to be an offensive foul on Shakira Austin. And a warning from the official as Austin had some choice words for the striped shirts.
It's the Iverson cut. Ely goes underneath, not just the screen, but goes under the defense as well. Blair Watson, plenty of time to set her feet. Back-to-back buckets for the senior Watson.
Second foul on Austin.
There's the reaction by Austin. She had a few choice words.
Koenig, Boyd, offensive foul. Kyla Charles stepping in front for the charge.
Kyla Charles doing another added value play that doesn't have to be in the scoring column, right? It's a terrific job of getting back and drawing the charge in transition.
Second foul on Boyd.
Boyd's got to learn how to make that play on balance.
And it's going to be a walk whistled against Maryland.
But you know, I love the set. Brenda Fries has not gone to that set with Kyla Charles on the elbow. And we know from the South Carolina game that it is really hard to guard Charles when she gets a quality catch on the elbow.
Crutchfield, got it. The quick counter, and they'll give it right back. So after the 6-0 run, a couple of giveaways. Koenig, the senior out of British Columbia. She had a couple of 20-point performances out in Hawaii.
So Maryland switches right now on that flare screen, and now Blair Watson trying to defend Cunane. So you got to get the right angle to throw it in there. You had the mismatch. You got to recognize it.
Meixel's floater, no. Charles working against 3 white jerseys to keep possession. Watson, no. Cunane corrals it.
I like to call Cunane Big Smile as her nickname, but I'm telling you, she's got a great toughness.
Like Bryant Reeves at Oklahoma State. Big country?
Yes, exactly that kind of.
Big smile?
Big smile. Number 33 in white, the sophomore. There's the switch. There's the switch again. Now you got Cunane on a post-up.
Crutchfield trying to beat the shot clock buzzer, and she does. Her third triple to grab the lead back. Mikesel off balance, tough shot.
Go right back to Crutchfield. You see Westmore wants the ball in her hands.
Koenig. Off the bounce.
You get hips and shoulders by the defender with the offhand and a great finish. It's an 8-0 NC State run. Kai Crutchfield, a crowd favorite. Back-to-back triples. NC State with a 3-point lead.
Coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report, we will recap a wild weekend in women's basketball, plus UConn in a tough road test tonight in New Jersey against Seton Hall. But NC State, Rebecca, an 8-0 run to take the lead. What's changed for the Wolfpack?
They stopped turning the basketball over, and it seems like they may have figured out Maryland's switching man-to-man defense, getting a couple threes and driving the lane as well.
And how about the guards of both teams making plays on both ends of the floor, offense, defense, threes into the basket?
Beth Deb, we'll see you at the half.
Thank you, John. Another three for Blair Watson. That's her fourth. She's got a dozen points. They have 7 triples, Debbie, and only 3 two-pointers so far in the first half.
Well, Maryland only averages 8 threes, but they shoot at 40% as a team.
NC State plagued by turnovers. That's their 13th, but they've still shot 50%, and a hot hand of late for Kai Crutchfield.
Well, I would like to say that it's a dead ball turnover so they can be organized on the defensive end, but NC State hasn't taken anything away from Maryland. Maryland is getting whatever they want offensively.
Ashley Owusu is back in at the point. Taken away by Crutchfield.
There's a great dig on the drive. Crutchfield's playing great for NC State right now. Fronting the post, finding it hard to get it inside to Cunane. Stephanie Jones really working hard on that matchup.
And Leitzel was denying Crutchfield. Mid-range, no good. They missed Crutchfield open in the corner on that baseline drive. Jones will try for 3. Brenda Freese thought that was a little too early in the possession to look for the 3. Especially since she hasn't made but one all season. On the drive, Koenig, and the foul. It's going to go on Stephanie Jones. Sunday on ABC and on your ESPN app, we'll have a Lone Star Showdown between Texas A&M and Texas at the new Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. Comes your way at 3 Eastern, 2 Central. Aggies and Longhorns. That was the second foul on Jones. 2 free throws for Koenig. 78% on the season for Ace.
Jones with 2, Austin with 2. Maryland going with a smaller lineup on the floor right now. We might see Kyla Charles playing at the 5 position here.
There's a lane violation called on NC State. 2 minutes to go, all even here in the first half.
They're just running a 5-out option, and Owusu using her body to get inside.
Blocked by Brown Turner. Charles off the bounce, offensive foul.
That is a terrific job by Kayla Jones to draw the charge. You know, typically both these teams play off the pass a lot better than they've played off the pass tonight. A lot of dribbling, a lot of extra bounces that aren't going anywhere, and you get unorganized offensively, and if you don't have somebody that's explosive, it's hard to find an easy bucket.
Maryland's getting an abundance of chances, dominating on the glass, but they do not have the second chance points to show for it here in the first half. Tough shot. There's the offensive board, the kick out. Good from Brown Turner. Cunane trying to clean it up. Good hustle play by Masonis to get a body in there. Owusu stripped on the drive. And the struggles continue right now for the freshman. Ashley's 0 for 4 here in the half.
NC State's got great quickness in their backcourt, and they have made it difficult for Owusu to get a good look. She's able to use that frame to get in the paint, but it hasn't resulted in her being able to score. She might be able to use that body to get in the paint and distribute.
She is their leading scorer at 14 a game. ESPN's #1 rated point guard coming out of high school last year. Here she is with the ball.
She has terrific vision for a freshman. And Mike Sell, that is a beautiful play off the glass. You're going to run her off the three-point line. You got to be able to be creative to make those kind of shots. Final minute of the half. Maryland back up by 2. So you get a 2-for-1 here, but you got to practice it. Well, they've lost Kai Crutchfield after she had the hot hand. They aren't getting her the ball. Look at Mike Sell right here. Good job of ripping it through. One bounce and a runner off the glass. That's a beautiful play by Taylor Mike Sell. Eight points now for Taylor, close to her average already. Owusu, not herself tonight. Her third turnover. And then the foul call. So when you've had as much success early as Owusu has had, she's a terrific point guard. We've seen her up close twice now. She's got size, she has vision, she's got terrific handle, she can score. And right now, she's got to try to make a play for someone else. I think if she does that, it will help her settle down the game. Koenig here with the shot clock off to close out the half. And now Kai Crutchfield has it. The fade, no good. Tipped back out, still alive. And the Maryland Terrapins will take the lead into the locker room. 30-28, our score in this top 15 showdown at Reynolds Coliseum. Now back to the studio. John Brickley with the halftime report.
Beth, thank you. A competitive first half between Maryland and NC State. This is the Jeep halftime report as we welcome you inside our college basketball studios. John Brickley, the coach, Andy Landers, and the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. A 2-point lead right now for the Terps in the first half of this Big Ten ACC Challenge. And in that first half, Coach, Maryland went to their bread and butter, and that was the three-point shot.
Oh, there's no question. They have 11 field goals at the half. 7 of them have come from three-point range, which is unbelievable, really, that this game is still that close when you've only shot or hit 4 2-point field goals. They've done it on plays like this from deep in the corner. Early in the game, they were quick coming down the floor, coming off screens, reading them well, squaring it up and knocking it down. Here's your transition 3. They've scored the 3 in every manner you can imagine in this half, even closely guarded.
Another tough shot right over the NC State defense. And you know what? Not only Maryland's offense, I was really impressed with what they were doing on the defensive end. And you heard Debbie Antonelli talking about it. They were switching into a different defenses. They're playing man-to-man. And the way they play man-to-man now, they switch almost 1 through 5 in terms of the on-ball screens. They were playing some zone. They were picking up. But it seemed like NC State slowly started to figure out that switching man-to-man defense and finding flare screens that they could take advantage of threes, driving into the paint. The biggest thing for NC State was they were turning the basketball over too much. But still, they have to be pleased to be only down 2 right now, considering how much they turned it over.
Absolutely. I thought NC State did a good job at times spreading the floor, spacing the floor, and then driving the basketball to the basket. They scored some baskets there early. I would expect them to come back with that in the second half.
And they have the opposite to Maryland. They have 4 made threes and 7 made twos.
And to your point, Rebecca, 14 turnovers Maryland's defense forced on NC State, exceeding the Wolfpack season average so far in that first half.
This halftime report is presented by the Jeep Big Finish event. So hurry in and end the year with a great deal.
If we get out of that mode and we just take what the defense gives us in a really strong competitive mentality, we still got to be aggressive. We still got to, but you know what, Ash, when you go downhill for us and you draw to go kick to somebody else, right? If it's one-on-one, get yourself to the rim. If they help strong side, we're going to be able to attack that. We play inside out, you know, being able to get it. But again, we're on the other end. The second half, our defense has got to be greater. Can our defense be greater? Yes. Hell yeah, it can. Right? But it's got to be greater. That ball pressure, they're going to, I promise you, they're going to come out, they're going to pump it into 33. 33-1 right now, that's right. 4 out 1 in, pump it into 33. Not going to let them. We've had some great possessions.
Well, great stuff from Maryland head coach Brenda Fries in the halftime locker room. Beth Mullins along with Debbie Antonelli. They are expecting Elisa Cudane to touch the ball a little bit more for NC State. They were shooting red hot from beyond the arc in that first half.
Well, I would get the ball to Cudane. She only had 3 touches, or 3 shots, I should say. And for Maryland, you see Blair Watson had the hot hand. Maryland shot the 3 really well for NC State. Kai Crutchfield went on a mini run for the Wolfpack. And the Pack's +9 on the glass, but Maryland is +4 on the turnover margin. And the easy 2 points to start the half for NC State.
Ace Koenig finds Crutchfield for the lay-in.
They were working on that exact play and shoot around this morning. Austin with those 2 fouls, back on the floor.
Owusu with the assist. You also heard Brenda Fries talking to a freshman, hey, if you're taking it one-on-one, that may not be our best option right now, and she helps out a teammate there.
Well, when you're struggling and you're playing in a crowd, you got to try to make a play for someone else.
With the assist there to Austin, who had been quiet and in some foul trouble in the first half.
And in anticipation of Maryland knowing that NC State would go into Cunane. As you see NC State's inbound play here wide open, taking advantage of a defensive assignment that Crutchfield has a quickness factor over. But Maryland brings a double team to Cunane on the block the last possession. So Brenda Fries countering and changing her look on the defensive end early. It's a good adjustment.
We talked about this matchup, Cunane and Austin. Good rebound for Kayla Jones.
And Cunane's got to sit in a post and demand the basketball.
There she is, off the window. Her first points since the first quarter. Owusu again charging into traffic and whistled for the offensive foul.
When you see that help and there's no space there, you can't drive downhill into that contact. And so when you're playing against quicker athletic guards, that space shrinks really quickly. And I think that's an adjustment that Owusu is learning about in this game.
The youngster had 9 turnovers through their first 8 games. She's got 4 in 3 quarters tonight. Credit to the state defense for that. Tough shot for Don Turner. Cunane trying to clean it up. Little extra oomph, and she's got back-to-back baskets.
NC State realizes it's part of their identity is getting the ball inside to Cunane. And they weren't able to do that very well in the first half. As a matter of fact, 4 touches in the first quarter, 1 in the second. That's not enough.
Koenig, tough pass for the big girl to handle.
Trying to post up Owusu.
Charles. She could not find a mark in the first half either as Austin misses the gimme. Kyla, the AP first team All-American, now 1 for 7 tonight.
Nice drive by Jones. High off the glass. Playing right off the post up of Cunane, and NC State's fans are getting in it.
6-0 run. And a 4-point lead. Well, you can join ESPN and the V Foundation in the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate, and all donations benefit the V Foundation for cancer research. Terrific coaches, terrific friends, both fought the good fight. Jim Valvano and Kay Yao, the legendary coaches here for the men's and women's programs as we play inside Valvano Arena at Reynolds Coliseum, and we play on Kay Yao Court. And both of them Hall of Famers.
And Coach Yao is in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. 1998 took her team to the Final Four. There's her
whistle
banner hanging in the
rafters. Coach Yao, gold medal winning Olympic coach for Team USA, over 700 wins in over 3 decades here at NC State. And the Wolfpack, they're out rebounding Maryland. They're scoring more in the paint. They're scoring more off the turnovers. And on the fast break tonight, and they have their largest lead right now.
Boy, Owusu and Crutchfield got tangled up, and that's a good piece of officiating right there by Decanter. Instead of calling a foul, she calls it 3 seconds. Now, Brenda Freese a couple of times in this half has tried to post up Owusu and take advantage of that big frame at the point against a smaller guard, but NC State's toughness in Kai Crutchfield kept her from getting in good position inside.
Leading scorer remains scoreless. In fact, 3 of the starting 5 really struggling offensively tonight for the Terps. They've been able to stay in it with their defense, forcing a lot of turnovers. Shot clock's winding down. Brown Turner. Jones offensive board and then put it on the deck and had it stripped away.
Great job by Faith Masonis to get a piece of that, get the deflection.
Charles from Mikesel. Found her on the secondary break.
Neither one of these teams have exceptional team speed up and down the floor. You know, NC State didn't do a very good job of getting back and matching up, but it's hard when you turn the ball over.
Brown Tuners spun into the double team. That may be wiped away. That did not touch the rim.
And the horn did not go off, so I do not think that's a good basket. But the officials can go look at it.
It reset when the ball touched the net, but it did not appear to touch iron.
You watch right here. The ball does not hit the rim. Okay, and the buzzer should have gone off. Instead, the clock reset. NC State, the last 2 possessions deep into the shot clock. Again, Maryland's defense being disruptive in the quarter court. We haven't seen the 3-quarter court D out of Maryland a lot since the beginning of the game. And part of the reason why is because NC State was able to score on the backside of it.
Who's in the house tonight? Marianne Stanley, the new head coach of the Indiana Fever. You want to talk about one of the legends of the game, right? 3 national championships as a player, 3 national championships as a coach at Old Dominion.
Very excited for her.
Are they still partying after, you know, she's the Mystics assistant, right? After they won the WNBA title this summer? Actually, she's working tonight.
Yeah, well, don't you party until they tip the new season?
I think
That's
so.
what I always thought.
I would think so, yeah. The officials continue to look at the monitor. We're pretty sure they're going to take this one away.
I think they're looking at the overall time, how much time should come off the clock. Another look right here. You can't see the shot clock in it, but I don't think the ball hits the rim. You can tell by the spin.
And it will be a shot clock violation. Decanter.
Another good job by the officials to go to the monitor and knock it out. And
D with Joe Vasili tonight. Mark Resch, veteran crew with us. And North Carolina, a winner tonight. So that gets the ACC their first win in the challenge. It's a 5-1 lead now for the Big Ten. 8 wins will win the challenge, and the Big Ten still looking for its first challenge championship.
The Decanter making sure 5:07 stays on the clock.
And now it goes to 6-1. Rutgers a winner over Virginia. So they are 2 wins away from claiming the crown. Meitzel, little fade on that shot, comes up short. That will stay with the Wolfpack. Well, when you've been in the game for over 30 years and had over 700 wins, when you get a chance, Wes Moore's gonna live it up a little. So on the left, Wes tonight. On the right, the new leather that he picked up on their West Coast road trip. And the flat mirror glasses for Coach Moore. Looking good. Looking Cali. They were at St. Mary's, and then they went out to Hawaii. And look at this.
How about this? Well, Coach Moore got himself a new present. It's called a red convertible.
Little red Corvette right there.
I love it. You know what? If he's driving around in that, I'm taking a look to see who's in it.
It could be a good winter of basketball for the men's and women's teams here in Raleigh.
Saw Kevin Keats in the building earlier. Of NC State men with a big win over Wisconsin yesterday. You know, one of the things that Wes does that I find unique is he writes on the board in the locker room the night before. He doesn't do it right before the game.
The game plan?
The game plan. You know, every coach writes on the board before the game. He does it the night before. The other thing is he goes through shoot-around in dress shoes. He's got some nice dress shoes he wears for shoot-around, and he's on the floor all over the court. I think his dress shoes rival what Andy Landers wears in the studio.
40-34, NC State with a lead over Maryland.
Andy does not drive a, well, and he doesn't wear a black leather jacket, does he?
Tractor, though. He might. Have to check in on that. Here's Charles trying to beat the shot clock buzzer. They have it taken away.
Look at Cunane posting up inside, looking where the angle should be. That's a bad pass. She's trying to tell Koenig where to go with the ball.
Meitzel wide open, so Koenig makes the bad pass and then doesn't hustle down on D.
Well, it's back-to-back mistakes for NC State because you have to locate Meitzel in transition.
Maryland back within a possession. 8 3-pointers on the night. Right around their average. They turn it over again.
I think they look stagnant. They're not moving the ball. Playing off the bounce too much, more than we've seen.
So no. Let's see if they can get it going here. As soon as we show the red Corvette, Debbie, they start playing like a Pinot on offense here. Let's see if they can rev the engine a little bit.
It's just sloppy right now. No ball fakes, no hard cuts, no extra pass. All the things that are very much a part of what I would call NC State's identity. And that wasn't a hard cut to the ball to get open.
Koenig, terrific hedge on that screen. Jones from the corner for 3. Koenig kept her head up to find the open shooter. Maryland continues to play with Meitzel at the point on a rough outing for Owusu, the freshman, tonight. Two minutes to go here in the third.
NC State's got to get into their sets a little quicker because they've been really late in the shot clock. Wide open.
Koenig using the double screen. Offensive rebound and the block. And then a foul, I think it might go on Cunane. Let's see who gets called for this.
That was much better ball movement by the Wolfpack, though. And you get the three-point shooter, the best shooter on your team, wide open.
That's the second foul, by the way, on Cunane, who has a double-double tonight now. 10 points, 10 rebounds.
There's Owusu. Let's see if she can facilitate the offense.
Jones rebounds the Jones miss.
Well, when Cunane is open, NC State's not ready to get it to her.
Brown Turner steps outside the line for three. Biggest lead of the night for State.
Let's see if the energy picks up here on this end of the floor.
Watson drops it off to Charles, blocked by Cunane. And then short on the fade.
Much better effort right here. You get a piece of the paint, you kick, you make the extra pass, you move without the ball. Much better execution by NC State. And Jakia Brown-Turner, the player of the year from Maryland, hits a big three against Maryland. She told me today her decision on where she wanted to play basketball was between these two schools.
At Oxon Hill, Maryland, a McDonald's All-American and the 15th rated recruit in the country. Koenig goes baseline off the mark. Weak side, Austin. Shot clock's off.
Again, they went 1-4 low last time they had this situation, and NC State switches to the 2-3 zone.
Austin banks it in with 2 seconds to go. Maryland gets one late, but it's State by 7. All right, Les, the offense got it back together. We'll let you show a little leather one more time. Coming at you in Raleigh. Well, JB, they both lost a lot to graduation. They both have had players injured or out with ailments. They both have had some players transfer out. There are a lot of new faces in that rivalry. And an emerging star in stores, Debbie, Megan Walker, 29 tonight, and averaging over 20 on the season.
And I think Sam Brunel for Notre Dame is due for a big game. And I'm sure Coach Auriemma would be ready to guard the post-up ability of those big perimeter players from up at McGraw.
We got that game coming from Gamble Pavilion on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock on ESPN and on your ESPN app. The Irish will head to Connecticut with a 500 record. Of course, they lost the 5 players to the WNBA. 3 of them ended up on the WNBA all-rookie team for the Irish.
We were there last night. Notre Dame erased an 18-point deficit to take a 1-point lead. Minnesota and Lindsay Whalen's team played really well in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the 4th quarter to win.
Did a heck of a job. Survived a scare. NC State with the 7-point lead underway in the 4th quarter. Who's going to make the big plays late?
Well, I think Kai Crutchfield has done a really good job defending Maryland's leading scorer, Ashley Owusu. She's looked like a freshman tonight, quite frankly, and most of the season she hasn't. Owusu 0 for 4 comes in as their leading scorer.
There is Owusu driving the lane, another miss, and there it is, her first bucket of the night. They were in a tough game earlier in the season against a ranked opponent. They lost at home against South Carolina. Will they respond better here tonight? Owusu back-to-back buckets.
Steal score mentality, and Maryland's going to be issued a delay here for knocking the ball out of the net. Good job by the Terrapins to turn it over. Owusu with back-to-back baskets. 22 turnovers for Wes Moore's team, and that is a season high. Remember, it's not a stop-score mentality for Maryland anymore. It is a steal score up the line, overplaying, and Diamond Miller is on the ball right here, who's a very good defender.
And after a rough night for Owusu, she can rewrite the ending. with a big fourth quarter. She's got her first couple of buckets. Hunter. Koenig looking for three. Second chance.
Make a good decision here with the ball.
That's going to be a bump on Owusu.
And Brenda Free stomping over there for her team to rebound. Something they've been very good at over her time at Maryland. They've won 4 of the last 5 Big Ten regular season titles. In 8 of the last 9 years, Beth, they've led the Big Ten in rebounding margin.
She's not going to like looking at the stat sheet as of right now anyways. It is a major discrepancy on the glass favoring NC State tonight. Plus 17 right now. Cunane, count it.
Wow. Now, that was impressive. 6'5", puts the ball on the floor against 6'5". Handles the contact, gets it up off the glass.
I think they're going to call the foul on Shakira Austin.
I actually thought she might have traveled.
Yeah, well, that's a break for NC State. It didn't look like a whole lot of contact either. We'll have to settle for 2 out of 3. And look at Maryland with quick counter and another missed layup. Koenig has a woman out in front. Mike's her 3. Got it.
Now here we go. This is what we want. Up and down.
End to end.
Some intensity.
These two programs had some wars. They owned the Atlantic Coast Conference in the 70s and 80s. And of course, since 2014, Maryland off to the Big Ten. They're back together again. They saw each other 2 years ago, and NC State knocked Maryland out of the NCAA tournament. May have been an extra step advantage there for Maryland. They don't care. It's a 3-point game.
The whole student section on that end of the floor was all calling for the walk. Look at Diamond Miller's presence on the floor. She's created havoc on the defensive end, and Shakira Austin made a terrific outlet pass to Owusu, who was sprinting up the floor. When you don't have to come back and get the outlet, and you have players that can move the ball up the floor off the rebound, you can quickly get into your transition game. Watch right here. That is a bullet outlet pass, and Owusu doing a great job of getting it up the floor to Miller.
There are an awful lot of alums out there, yourself included, Debbie, thinking of Kay Yao, thinking of Chris Weller, thinking of the good old days of this rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
Back at Cole Fieldhouse.
This was the game in this building.
And before the renovations here at Reynolds.
I don't miss that tartan floor, I can tell you that.
There's a little nasty showing up here in the fourth quarter tonight. How about some NBA action for you on ESPN and the ESPN app? It's a Friday night doubleheader. Nuggets and Celtics at 8. And then out west for the Lakers and the Blazers at 10:30. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 o'clock.
So Maryland averages, Beth, 86 points a game. And right now, they have been held to 47. Well, the pace has been a lot slower than either team typically plays in. So what that means now, with 6:34 to play, you have to make sure your details are good. You cannot afford any game slippage. You have to minimize your mistakes, and you can't make them back-to-back. All your details come into play right now.
Another steal. Wraparound won't go. Another steal. Miller fouled on the drive.
Diamond Miller. She has created a problem for NC State since Brenda Freese put her in here in the fourth quarter. And too much dribbling by the Wolfpack, and the wrong people dribbling the basketball.
Diamond Miller, top 20 prospect out of Somerset, New Jersey, and the New Jersey Player of the Year last season. A couple of sisters playing college hoops. Dad was a hooper as well at Villanova.
And we talked about the chemistry of NC State. Well, Maryland has 5 starters that returned from last year, plus the #3 recruiting class. Brenda Fries has had some time to work through the chemistry as well. Now, that might have been a foul.
Another takeaway. And before the kick out, the whistle and the offensive foul. That's the third on Ashley.
Yeah, that's a couple of times she's charged, right? And every time she's gone into the paint with traffic, she's had some difficulty tonight. Watch right here. There's plenty of time to set up to draw that charge. And that was a play in transition, so that the secondary, the restricted area is not in play.
Down Turner, can't get that one to go.
Speaking of the lines on the floor, Beth, one of the things that Brenda Fries noted to us in shoot-around is that she loves the one line on the floor. Like, this gym doesn't have the men's three-point line.
Yeah, they don't play here.
They don't play in here.
You're going to see a lot of gyms around the country with, too, because the women did not move their line back. The men did.
Now, the men would, if they usually play 1 or 2 games in here a year, but they'll add the line for that. There's the double to the block.
Crutchfield had the hot hand in the first half. Bangs one hole.
She is a crowd favorite for her role last year on this team when they were decimated by injury.
Didn't get the box out. Maryland crashes, and Crutchfield comes out.
Look how hard Jones runs the floor for position. That's a terrific job by NC State.
Charles goes to the left side to lay it up and in. Under 5 to go in a heated battle tonight on K-Yow Court.
Look at the intensity is picked up, right? Details much better. NC State still deep into that shot clock. Turnover.
Good job by Wusu to get a hand in the passing lane. Charles gets it stuck and a foul called.
Nobody wants to see that. Ball stuck in the rim.
People like to see this. Kai Crutchfield spotting up for the triple. Historic Valvano Arena at Reynolds Coliseum. We're playing on K-Yow Court today. You think, Debbie, of all the legends that have graced this floor, all the big games and big moments inside this building, one of the top venues in college basketball history, and we got another good one brewing here down the stretch. 4:19 to go. Number 13 and unbeaten NC State. Number 9 Maryland in a 3-point game.
NC State minus 11 turnovers. They've turned it over 26 times, but they're plus 17 on the glass. So it's neutralized the number of possessions. Neither team has shot a lot of free throws. But this 2-2-1 has been a problem for NC State tonight.
A combined 10 free throws, as a matter of fact. We've had 34 three-point attempts. Now the game has changed. Cunane, who's got the double-double, steps through the double team.
2 dribbles towards the midline, and then she knows she has the size advantage. So you don't counter, you go to your go-to move.
Offensive foul on the screen.
Elisa Cunane, the 6'5" sophomore. She's got a smaller defender. She senses and reads. Westmore puts the ball in her hands late. She is highly skilled and has three-point capability as well.
And she has had the advantage over Shakira Austin. You talked about that matchup, how critical it would be tonight. And they've countered with Crutchfield from downtown. A little too much traffic to try and get it into Cunane there.
You got to read the weak side help. I mean, Cunane is working hard, calling for the ball, shaping up on the passing angles on the perimeter.
Westmore calls the timeout, 3:09 to play. Thank you very much, John. Houston, Michigan. Coming up next, we got a good one here tonight at Reynolds. With the ball in a 4-point lead and the shot clock down to 1. Cunane, offensive rebound, held ball. Charles was there defensively. Gonna stay with the Pack.
Keep your eye on Cunane on this play, out of bounds play, out of the box set. Baseline out of bounds. Maryland in their man-to-man will switch.
Crutchfield with Watson draped all over. Cannot give either one of those much space. They've had the hot hands from deep tonight. Crutchfield on the switch over Austin. Wow! Over the 6'5" defender.
It's the first time we see Westmore go to the horn set.
Austin off balance. Brown Turner comes out with it. Crutchfield.
The 5'9" junior from Raleigh, Kai Crutchfield, gets the switch off the horns, and then she just puts it in another gear right here. You don't see two hips, two shoulders. You're taking it to the rim. Kai Crutchfield. She's a crowd favorite because of this reason, Beth, because she's got 8 of their last 12. And last year when the injuries came, she was inserted into the starting lineup, and she hadn't been getting a lot of playing time at that time. And look, she's played so hard, she's played herself into probably a cramp right there. But she has worked on her game. She has continued to fight. She's had an incredible night. Kai Crutchfield from right down the road sticks a deep triple here. Good balance on her threes. And she sets her feet and gets her shoulders over her feet. It is money for the Wolfpack. Late in the shot clock, she has really evolved into a go-to player in a late game possession like this for Westmore.
A career-high 23 points against Texas in their trip out to Honolulu. And she's got 19 tonight. And the hot shooting hand she had out in Waikiki, she's brought it home with her. Owusu has not been the freshman's night. And a learning experience in a tough environment.
NC State has crowded her. They've changed defenders on her. When she gets to the paint, she just has not made good decisions tonight. And she has been doing so all season long.
Under 2 minutes. Offensive rebound. Brown Turner.
Both teams with fouls to give. Maryland has a foul to give.
Countdown from the crowd, and a missed layup and a shot clock violation. Don't forget SportsCenter coming up tonight after our second game, Syracuse, Michigan. That is next. Kenny Mayne, John Anderson will have all the latest from the Cowboys-Bears game tonight. That's all coming up later on SportsCenter. We've got more women's hoops coming up next.
Well, this is a time when Maryland really could have used an opportunity to look for a three.
Cunane. And the foul is going to be called on Charles. This is one of those games that you circle right on your calendar, Debbie. You get excited, your fan base gets excited about it, and then you tuck it away for a couple of months, and all of a sudden it comes back in front of the selection committee. Absolutely. And they say, hey, remember that night in early December?
Right, you're absolutely right. We've been talking about seeding since November 10th when you and I had Maryland and South Carolina. And all these games matter, and they discuss these games at great length. And listen, the Big Ten is more wide open than people think. Maryland is the pick, but there are some really good teams in that league, and it will not be easy in the Power 5 this year for anybody to win their championship.
They are off to the best start in their non-conference games in Big Ten history, nearly 40 years. So they are going to have some fabulous basketball in the conference.
Well, NC State countered their inability to take care of the ball by rebounding tonight.
There should be some parity in the ACC, Debbie, as well, probably with Louisville out in front. NC State picked in the preseason to finish second behind Louisville. And of course, Jeff Walls already has that Oregon Duck pelt on the wall in his office. A huge win for them last week.
Well, he did a magnificent job coaching that team, and Kylie Shook did a great job defending Sabrina Ionescu, who's last year's Wade Trophy winner.
I don't know if I don't think ducks have pelts, by the way. It's probably just a feather or two.
Well,
a feather in their cap.
I don't eat seafood.
If you will.
I don't know what duck is.
And one opportunity for Owusu. And looky here, it's a 7-point game with 38 seconds to go.
Downhill with some space, and she uses that body off balance to get inside, draw the foul against the 6'5" shot blocker.
They've turned NC State over 27 times, so they've still got a chance here. A 2-possession game.
Brenda Freeze, we know the press is coming. NC State's got to handle it. They have not handled it all night.
Remember as well, reminder for women's hoops, no more 1-and-1s. So the fouls, once they become shooting fouls on that 5th foul, are all 2.
Yeah, and this is why I don't understand why that rule's in play.
I don't know a lot of people that like it.
I don't know anybody who does.
No.
I don't know. Maybe the rules committee likes it. Who's on the rules committee? I think we need some D1 coaches that play on TV and power leagues to be on the rules committee in women's basketball. So if you're out there listening and you fit that criteria, please consider it.
Cunane talking with the coach. Elisa's up to what, 14 points, 14 rebounds.
Got to cut hard.
There's the foul. Maryland did not think they committed one there, but Cunane to the line, so a 74% free throw shooter. They are only 2 of 8 at the stripe. Also in women's hoops, you can take the timeout and advance to midcourt. So Maryland with the timeout. How about the play inside and outside? Crutchfield from deep, Cunane from the lane. What are you calling her? Big smile?
Big smile.
See if we can get that to stick.
Yeah, that's definitely going to stick.
Shout out to Big Country. But Cunane at 6'5", the sophomore out of Summerfield, North Carolina.
We anticipated that matchup on the inside could help determine the outcome of the game. And Cunane certainly in the second half played like a preseason or like a player of the year candidate in the ACC. She demanded the basketball. She worked on the glass. I thought she was terrific shaping up to the ball all night. She's got great hands. She can score around the rim. And even though Brenda Fries anticipated they would go to her, we heard her in the huddle at halftime, or in the locker room at halftime. They brought the double and she still made plays out of it.
Quick on the three, and NC State has it. And a chance to work some clock here.
You want to move the ball in that instance so you don't get fouled. Time is more important than points right now.
And they are rising to their feet in parts of Reynolds Coliseum. What an entertaining evening with NC State and Maryland. We talked about how key the matchups will be in the NCAA tournament and where you get sent. Greenville, Fort Wayne, Dallas, and Portland. And these two teams certainly with the look of clubs that could be playing deep into that NCAA tournament with a shot at New Orleans.
Impressive by NC State to overcome all the turnovers.
Owusu, the late three. And North Carolina State back home off a hot road trip out to Hawaii, and they get the upset of Maryland, 66-59.
You got to overcome adversity if you're going to be a great team, and NC State had to overcome all those turnovers tonight. I thought they had better balance in the second half. Cunane on the inside and Kai Crutchfield on the perimeter for NC State. This is a big win for the ACC, a huge win for the NCAA tournament seeding opportunities for NC State.
Crutchfield with 19, Cunane with 16 points, 15 rebounds, and a 66-59 win. For Deb Antonelli, I'm Beth Mowens. Stick around for Syracuse and Michigan. So long from Raleigh.
As we welcome you inside our college basketball studios, John Brickley, once again, glad to be joined by the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo and the coach Andy Lander. So NC State with an impressive victory, coach, snapping a 7-game losing streak versus top 10 opponents. It's a program that has gone to the Sweet 16 in back-to-back years. Now they're 9-0. Question to you, is this team for real?
Oh, I think definitely NC State is for real. I think Maryland is for real. I thought this was an excellent basketball game. NC State out-rebounded them, was excellent defensively, and particularly good defensively on Maryland's post. I thought those things changed the game, along with Crutchfield. This was a 4-point game with about 2 minutes left until Crutchfield hit the step-back three and then came right back in transition and laid it up. Is NC State legit? Yes. They have all the pieces, excellent guard play, excellent point guard, terrific, maybe the best young post player in the country inside.
Yeah, Alyssa Cunane is really, really good, and she came alive in the second half. And when I watch NC State, sometimes I think, as a post player, the best gift you can have is a good three-point shooting guard on the same side of the floor as you, because it makes it a lot harder for the opponent to double down on you. And those two end up on the same side of the floor a lot, and I thought Cunane did a really good job, especially early in the second half, and stayed solid. And then Crutchfield made those big, big plays in the fourth quarter.
And Deb Antonelli made a note of it on the broadcast as well. Second half scoring balance we saw from NC State, who was trailing by 2 at the break, to Maryland to come away with the victory, an impressive victory over a top 10 team.